Welcome to the third and next part of our wiring guide series, and this time or today we are covering how to wire up a circuit with a relay to power higher amperage accessories like fuel pumps, fans, etc., and on how to fuse your circuits correctly or how to fuse your harness correctly to add the necessary safeties if something goes wrong. First of all, we have the relay wiring. While at first glance this looks a little bit complicated because there's 5 wires going out of the relay and you will need a few relays if you're doing it properly, it's actually not that big of a deal and pretty easy. The only thing you have to look out for is that not all relays are equal, because some of them may have different colors. For example, the pin 30 might be a different color on some, like for example on the ones I had, pin 30 was red. So in this case it is a little bit different how I'm going to explain it, but the numbers, so the pin numbers, are going to be the same, and I'm going to explain what each of those mean. Starting at pin 30, this is basically the power input for the relay. This is where the relay gets its power from, and that goes just straight to the battery, of course with a fuse, but straight to the battery to 12 volts, and that is what powers everything that goes on in the relay. Then we have the red wire, in our case, or the pin 87A, which would have power even if the relay is not activated. Usually you won't really need that, so in this case we are going to ignore this one, and if you're using it you can just shorten it up to the casing so that you don't have a wire hanging around. Pin 86. This is actually the switch that controls the relay. So if this is activated, it activates the relay, and the peripherals or the accessory that is actually powered by the relay, so for in our case, for this one, it's going to be the fuel pump, is activated, and that's what's going to be routed to our ECU, in this case, our fuel pump output. Obviously, depending on what you are using, like if you are doing this for fans, for anything else, it's gonna be on a different output on the ECU, or maybe even on the ignition switch of your ignition, but this is how to wire that. Then we have pin 87, which in our case is yellow, and that goes to the device that is powered. So in our case, it is going to the fuel pump. This is the power feed for that, so 12 volts. And the fuel pump is then only wired with ground to a ground point like the chassis or whatever else. And then lastly we have pin 85, which is ground. So basically just the ground for everything that is on the relay. So that is straight wired to ground, like either the battery or ground, engine ground, whatever you want. And that's basically how to wire that. It is important though that you're using the correct wire thickness for each of these wires. While the pin 86, so the switch, this can be the same wire thickness as you would use for your normal ECU wiring, as there's not much current going through that. But the other ones like 87, 85 and pin 30 do have to have the wiring that is at least the thickness that the same amperage that can handle the same amperage as, at a minimum, the peripherals you are going to run with it, or what the actual relay can handle. So in this case it's a 30/40 amp relay, so 40 amp relay, and the wire thickness needs to match what that relay can handle if you're going to use the full capacity of it, because otherwise the wires can get pretty hot, and obviously the heat isn't good, so if it gets too hot it can melt, and the thing that is wired to the relay won't get the full power it can actually do. And that is, for example, why fuel pumps on stock wiring harnesses, like upgrade fuel pumps, often don't deliver their fuel or their full advertised liter power range. So that's how you wire a relay. It's really pretty simple, and it does not need much in total. One thing you also have to look out for if you are wiring into your ECU and not a switch then you will obviously also have to wire your ECU for a ignition switch. This makes sense, so that if your ignition turns on, then you actually have a trigger of when any other outputs, like the fuel pump, for example, are priming, because the fuel pump will prime when the ignition switch is on for like a few seconds, or depending on how long you set it. And so that needs to be taken in mind. If you want to use a switch for the relay, like a hardware switch, then you just take the white wire or pin 86, that is basically the trigger signal, and instead of wiring it to the ECU, you wire one side to your switch, and the other side coming from the switch goes to 12 volts, because if you close the circuit with the switch, the relay gets 12 volts and then is switched on, and your accessory that is controlled by the relay is also switched on. For what do you need those relays, or what do you control with those relays? Well, it is big power draw accessories like the fuel pump, electric fans, and other things that might need kind of a lot of power, like interior fans, etc. What I would recommend you also power with that is the ignition and injection circuit, because those can actually draw quite a big amount of power, and even draw some amount of power if they are switched off. So it makes sense to use them with an ignition switch, with a relay that only switches those on with an ignition switch, like you can see, for example, in this Speeduino wiring guide. So you could run those with a relay, either in a combined circuit for like 4 and 6 cylinders, so that you have ignition and injection combined. This would be the minimum. But if you, for example, would run a V8 or something, you would need to run 2 circuits usually, because on 40 or 30 amp relays, it's not gonna be enough, or you're getting close to the relay's limit. So I would recommend going for 2 circuits. The other thing we want to talk about today is fusing, how to fuse your circuits, because that's important. For example, if you have issues with shorting out or whatever, so that your car or your wiring harness does not catch fire. In theory, you want to fuse everything that has 12 volt on it, so that goes to a 12 volt source like the battery. So you want to have a fuse as close to your 12 volt source as possible. And this needs to match what is actually, in this case, in a relay. It needs to match or be a little bit higher what your peripherals are going to pull. As an example, I have a AM 340 liter per hour fuel pump here, and a chart of how much amperage it pulls when under full load. So this fuel pump can pull a maximum of 19 amps under full load, or under the maximum pressure there is. So you, for example, if you are going to use a circuit for a fuel pump with a relay, you need to fuse this for 25 amp, because you want to always go one step above that, because there might be current spikes. So while it is not very likely with the fuel pump, it can actually happen, for example, with a fan. If this one is 180 watts, that would be 15 amps. So 180 watts divided by 12 volts is 15 amps. And if you're, for example, using 2, you are at 30 amps. So you would need to use a 35 or 40 amp fuse to use that. So those fuses you should put here, so directly after the 12 volt battery. But then you also have the thing where you are giving your accessory power. So if you would be doing it the correct way, you would also be fusing it here, so the pin 87, where the power output goes to your accessory actually. While yes, it probably is enough to fuse the battery 12 volts, like the main line here, I would personally add one right here as well, just for the safety. You never know. It isn't really necessary, because this only gets power when the relay is switched on and this one's active. But honestly, it's better safe than sorry. Anything else that you have or are running to 12 volts also needs to be fused. So for example, even your injector harness and your ignition harness needs to be fused. And that's what we see right here. For example, per ignition coil or per injector, you can calculate about 2.5 amps. While most injectors are specified with 1 amp, they sometimes can peak a little bit higher. So I would just say, to be on the safe side, 2.5 amps per ignition coil and per injector as a fuse. For example, for 4 ignition coils or 4 injectors would be 10 amps each. So if you would be calculating for a relay circuit with 4 injectors and 4 ignition coils, that would be 20 amps. And you would need to fuse each of those harnesses for the injectors and for the ignition coils with 10 amps, and then if you combine them together, you will need to fuse your complete circuit with 20 amps here. So as you can see, it's pretty easy, and the only things you need to really worry about is what to connect to where and how much current these things are actually pulling, and how to size your fuses accordingly, how to size your wires accordingly, and then you won't have any problems really, as that's basically how this works. You might ask yourself, why might I just go for a much larger fuse? Well, that fuse actually on a short circuit, for example, might not actually blow if it is too big. So that's why it's important to choose a properly sized fuse. And for the relays, because I said 30 or 40 amps, there are actually also bigger relays, but you won't really need them, as not much in your car is gonna pull more than 30 or 40 amps. And it doesn't really make sense to put everything on one relay, because it just really doesn't make sense to do that. And if one relay fails, everything else is going bad, and the wiring for that would just be catastrophic. And yeah, it's just not really how you do it. There's a reason why stock cars don't do it like that. Also, there is like pre-made fuse boxes with relays and fuses. You can buy them. It makes the wiring a lot more neat and a lot more easy if you have a manual for them. And that's a good way to make things a little bit easier. But don't buy them for like 10-15 bucks on AliExpress, because that quality can sometimes be hit and miss. So just buy a good quality one to avoid any wiring hazards and stuff. That's it from me for this episode. In the next time, we are going to cover solenoids like boost solenoid, how to wire boost solenoid, VVT, idle, and for example launch control. Stay tuned for that. I wish you a nice day, and goodbye.